Good morning to you all. My name is Saurabh Yadav and I welcome you all in my YouTube channel, that is Biology at Fingertips by Saurabh Yadav. So I am here to discuss about the biomolecules. So let us start. What is this biomolecule? Okay, there is a term that is given, that is biochemistry. What do you mean by biochemistry? It is simply formed by two words. The first, that is bio, and chemistry. Bio simply means living things, okay, and chemistry simply means the structure or the molecular formula of various type of molecules that are present in living organism. So chemistry deals with the structure and formula, or simply we can say that molecular formula of living molecules, the molecules that are present in living organism. For example, amino acid. Whenever you are discussing amino acid, so a process through which various small amino acids combine, then they will form what? A single protein unit. Suppose this is a amino acid, this is another amino acid, this is another amino acid. Three amino acid combine to form one protein molecule. Now through this biological chemistry we can identify the structure of both amino acid as well as protein. What will be the structure of this amino acid? NH2, there will be an amine group. C double bond OH, there will be carboxylic acid group, a hydrogen group, and R, that is the alkyl group. So this is the basic structure of amino acid. As I know that when several amino acid combines, then it will form protein, and protein is known as body building block. This means it is helping in preparing my body, making my body protein. How it is formed? So it is formed by the combination of various type of amino acid. So it is a reaction that is taking place in a living organism. Now chemistry deals with the chemical structure. So we can identify the chemical structure of that amino acid. So the combining effect of both living and chemistry can be called as what? Biological chemistry. So biochemistry, sometimes called as biological chemistry, is the study of chemical processes. There are various type of chemical processes that are taking place in case of living organism. For example, whenever you are discussing about the photosynthesis, it is also a chemical reaction that is taking place in a plant species, where 6 molecules of carbon dioxide, 12 molecules of water combining with each other in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll pigment, and a stable product that is formed glucose C6H12O6. 6 oxygen is liberated and 6 H2O is also liberated in the form of vapor. So whenever you are discussing about the various type of chemical reaction, okay, that are taking place in any living organism, this means that reaction are basically chemical reaction, or that living reaction that are taking place in any living organism. Okay, so this reaction is basically a living reaction that is taking place in the living tissue of plant. Okay, now chemistry basically deals with to identifying the structure of this glucose. So chemistry is helping to identifying the structure of this glucose. So this is the basic structure of glucose, that HCHO, this is the aldehyde group, then COHH, CHOH, COHH, COHH and CH2OH. So chemistry help us to identifying the molecular formula and structural formula of the various living compounds. Okay, so biological chemistry or biochemistry is sometimes called as the biological chemistry. It is the process in which we can study the chemical processes that are occurring in any living organism. For example, I have given this photosynthetic reaction, which it is a living reaction that is taking place in a living organism in plants, where 6 molecules of carbon dioxide combining with 12 molecules of water in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll pigment, a stable product that is formed in the leaf. Okay, so this is about the biochemistry. So biochemistry simply means combination of living as well as the chemistry of that living molecule. Okay, for example, amino acid is a living molecule. We can discuss here the structure of the an amino acid. For example, glucose is a what living molecule. It is synthesized in a living cell. Okay, so through the chemistry point of view, we can identify their structure and molecular formula. So biochemistry is simply the combination of biology and chemistry. Note this point. In the next section, we are going to read about the metabolites. Okay, metabolites. What do you mean by metabolites? Metabolites are basically that chemical compounds or that molecules that directly takes place in the various type of metabolic reaction that are taking place in case of human being or in case of any living organism. For example, there are basically 2 type of metabolic processes that occur in our body as well as in the any living body. First, that is the anabolic process, and the second, that is the catabolic process. So what are the different components that are taking part in anabolism and in catabolism? The sum total of all the chemicals that are taking place in metabolic reaction is called as metabolites. So in the next section, we are going to discuss what do you mean by metabolites and how many types of metabolites are basically found. There are basically 2 types of metabolites are found. First, that is the primary metabolites, and the second, that will be the secondary metabolite. Note this point. This is biological chemistry. Now let us consider about the metabolites. What do you mean by metabolites? As I have already proclaimed that all the molecules which participated or which participates in metabolic processes that can be considered as metabolites. What are the metabolic processes that are going inside any living organism? For example, I am a living organism, then there are lots of chemical reaction that are going inside my body. There are some small molecules going to combine to form a larger molecule, and sometimes a larger molecules broken down into smaller molecules in order to give some amount of energy and in the form of ATP, and by utilizing that energy we can do our day-to-day work. So basically, note this point. What do you mean by metabolites? Metabolites simply means those molecules which are actively participating in metabolic processes that can be considered as metabolites. What are the metabolic processes? Let us suppose a term that has been given in the NCERT, that metabolism. What do you mean by metabolism? First of all, we have to know what do you mean by metabolism. Suppose I am a living organism, you are a living organism, lot of chemical reaction that is going inside my body. For example, I am taking oxygen, removing carbon dioxide, that is exchange of gases. For example, that is known as the breathing, respiration, excretion, digestion, egestion, absorption, circulation. All these processes are going inside a human body continuously. So what do you mean by metabolism? Simply means the sum total of all the chemical reaction. Note this point. the sum total of all the chemical reaction that is taking place in any living cell or in any living tissue, that can be considered as metabolism. Metabolism, the sum total of all chemical reactions that is taking place in any living organism can be considered as metabolism. Okay, what are the several reactions that are taking place? First, for example, excretion, digestion, absorption, breathing, respiration, circulation. Sum total of all the chemical reaction can be considered as metabolism. Now, the metabolism is of basically two types. First, that will be the anabolism or anabolic process, and the second, that will be the catabolism or catabolic process. Okay, now let us continue with the anabolism. Anabolism is basically a metabolic process where small molecules really combine with each other to form a larger molecule. That type of metabolic reactions that occurring in any living tissue or in any living organism can be considered as what? Anabolic process or anabolism. So anabolism simply means it is a process in which smaller molecules combine to form a larger molecule. Suppose this is the smaller molecules, they are going to combine to form a larger molecule. So this type of reaction can be considered as anabolism or anabolic processes. For example, suppose whenever you have to make your home or a house, so the home or house is made of bricks. There will be lots of bricks required for making the whole home or house. So these small bricks combining with each other to form a large home or house. So what are these small molecules? These are the basically whenever somebody asks you that where are you going, so somebody sometimes you tell that I am going to my construction site. Why you are saying that you are going to a construction site? Because here small molecules are being constructed in a systematic manner to form a large house, large home. So anabolic processes in the same manner can be considered as constructive process where something large is made, constructed. Okay, the example that comes into the anabolic processes is photosynthesis, in which 6 CO2 small molecules, 6 molecules of carbon dioxide, 12 molecules of water combine with each other in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. Then a glucose molecule will be formed and 6 oxygen will be liberated and water will also be liberated in the form of water vapor. So here small molecules, this is the small molecule, this is the small molecule, two small molecules combine to form a larger molecule, that is glucose. So it is a type of anabolic processes. For example, 1 2 3 amino acids combine with each other to form a one protein molecule. So small molecules forming a larger molecule. So this process is also what? Anabolic processes. Now the second type of process, that is the catabolic process or catabolism. Simply you can learn about C for catabolism and C for cut down. C for cut down, C for catabolism. So here the large molecules are cut down or broken down into small pieces. Then that type of processes can be considered as catabolism. So here we are cutting a larger molecule into small pieces. This means we are destructing a large molecule so that it can be converted into small pieces. So it is a type of destructive process. So let us see the definition. It is a process in which larger molecules are broken into smaller molecules. Suppose this is the larger molecule, it is broken into a smaller molecule. So here the destruction is taking place. So it is a destructive process. For example, whenever you go through the glycolysis, there is a cycle that is taking place in any living cell in order to produce what energy, that is called as the glycolysis. So in glycolysis, what is usually done, you have heard about the respiration. So it is also a type of respiration where the glucose which is formed must be broken down into smaller molecules, and through this some amount of energy is released in respiration process in order to utilizing that energy so that we can do our day-to-day work. For example, C6H12O6, this is the glucose molecule, and number of carbon, 6 carbon. How many carbon? 6 molecules of carbon is present here. It undergoes respiration or simply a process that is known as the glycolysis. That is also taking place in the presence of oxygen. Simply it is a type of respiration process. The stable product which will be formed is pyruvic acid. Which acid? Pyruvic acid, some amount of water, and near about 2 ATP energy will be released. 2 ATP, adenosine triphosphate. Here the molecules of carbon, how many carbon are there? 6 carbon. Here you can see there is only 3 carbon are found. This means a larger molecule that was made up of how many carbon? 6 carbon. Now it becomes of 3 carbon. This pyruvic acid is of 3 carbon, C3H4O3. This means the breakdown is taking place. 6 molecule of carbon is broken down into a simpler molecule of 3 molecules, that is pyruvic acid or pyruvate. So this respiration or glycolysis is a type of catabolic reaction. Now in the next section we are going to discuss the types of metabolites. As I have discussed that, what do you mean by metabolite? The molecules which are actively participating in the metabolic processes. This means either in the catabolism, either in the anabolism. Okay. Called as metabolism. Okay. So now we will discuss the type of metabolites. It is basically of two types: primary metabolites and secondary metabolites. So note this point. After that we will going to read that types of metabolites. Types of metabolites. There are basically two types of metabolites which we have to discuss in this biomolecule chapter. The first, that is the primary metabolites, and the second, that will be the secondary metabolites. So now we are going to discuss this primary metabolites and secondary metabolites in detail. Now let us consider the primary metabolites. Just one thing you have to remember about the primary metabolites. Primary metabolites are those metabolites, just note this point, primary metabolites are those metabolites that are directly involved in growth and development of any living organism. Note this point. Primary metabolites are those metabolites that are directly involved in growth and development of organism. This means if the primary metabolites are not found in living organism, then their growth and development cannot be possible. This is the basic difference. Just remember 2 points. Primary metabolites are those metabolites that are directly involved in growth and development of any living organism. This was the basic definition about primary metabolites. There are lots of living organism that produces thousands of organic compound. Okay, that it may be including, for example, it has been given living organism produces thousands of organic compounds, or simply we can say that the compounds that is having carbon called as organic compounds, or it is also known as the biomolecule, including amino acid, including sugar, including chlorophyll, heme, that is the hemoglobin, that is the heme part that is responsible for providing red color to the red blood cell. These are required for their basic and primary metabolic processes, such as, suppose if chlorophyll is not present in any plant cell, is it capable, that plant cell is capable of making photosynthesis? No, it can't do photosynthesis without this chlorophyll pigment. So this chlorophyll is helping in photosynthesis. Now again, then the second, that is the respiration process. The process that is taking place in any living cell, that is respiration. It is possible only when respiration, suppose the photosynthesis has taken place and a complex product that is formed is glucose. So respiration, I am explaining here, C6H12O6, okay, it undergoes respiration, or simply glycolysis, then it will form C3H4O3, pyruvic acid plus H2O plus some amount of energy will also be released in the form of ATP. This means this glucose is basically what? This glucose is a simple sugar. This means sugar is breaking down into pyruvate. This is pyruvate. Okay, so when complex sugar molecule broken down into pyruvate, it is providing some amount of energy in the form of ATP, and this process is called as respiration. So this respiration is only possible when any plant is having sugar. If there is no sugar, is there any possibility to convert that? So if there is no sugar, then there will be no respiration, then there will be no energy formation. So this sugar is basically helping in respiration. Note this point. This is sugar and it is providing energy. So through the respiration, energy is given or energy is provided in the cell so that they can utilize that energy and do their work. Now heme, in the same manner, it is providing what? Color to the red blood cells, and it is basically provide a surface through this oxygen can be easily attached. Okay, now some fatty acid. There are, when we will proceed in the next section, then you will study about the lipid. This lipid may be formed by combination of this fatty acid or by the combination of fatty acid plus glycerol. So this fatty acid leads to the formation of what? Lipid. Okay, so all these components, amino acid, sugar, chlorophyll, heme, fatty acid, all these components are known as primary metabolites because they are involved in primary function of living organism. For example, the primary function of any plant is doing photosynthesis. So it is having chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is the primary metabolite. Chlorophyll is the primary metabolite and it is helping in which process? Photosynthetic process. Sugar is also a primary metabolite, or carbohydrate, simply we can say that it is also helping in a primary process, that is respiration. Heme, it is also helping in combining the product with the oxygen, so it basically increases the oxygen binding capacity of the cell. Okay, now fatty acid basically helping in the making of or in production of lipid, so it is helping in lipid metabolism. Okay, so all these are basically primary metabolites that are involved in primary function of body. For example, respiration, for example, photosynthesis, for example, protein metabolism, for example, lipid metabolism. What is this protein metabolism? Simply several amino acid combine with each other to form protein. There is amino acid, it led to the formation of protein. So all these primary metabolites are primarily involved in the basic function of any living organism. So living organism produce thousands of organic compounds including amino acid, sugar, chlorophyll, heme, fatty acid. These are required for the basic or primary metabolic processes, for doing photosynthesis, for doing respiration, for doing protein metabolism, for doing lipid metabolism. All these are called as primary metabolites. And I have written what are the basic example of the primary metabolism here. So this fat or simply called as lipid. Fat or lipid is a primary metabolite. It can be formed by a combination of fatty acid plus glycerol. Protein basically combined by combination of amino acid. Carbohydrate simply means sugar, amino acid, okay, and then nucleic acid. All these can be considered as primary metabolites. These are primarily involved in protein synthesis, photosynthesis, and respiration, lipid metabolism, protein metabolism. So they are basically taking part in the basic properties or in the primary metabolic processes. That's why they are known as the primary metabolites. All these processes, for example respiration, for example photosynthesis, for example lipid metabolism, are the primary processes. Suppose if these amino acids are not combining, then there will be no protein formation. Then how this building will be formed? This means we cannot produce our body, because this protein are known as the building block of the body, and if this will not combine, this amino acid will not combine, protein synthesis cannot take place. So these metabolites are basically involved in what? Primary function that are required by each and every living organism to survive. And our last point, that is primary metabolite have identifiable function. The identifiable function means it is helping in photosynthesis, it is helping in respiration, it is helping in protein metabolism, it is helping in lipid metabolism, okay, and plays known role in normal physiological process. Normal physiological processes simply means normal processes that are required by any living organism to live, okay. All these processes can be, for example, cell differentiation, cell elongation, cell division. So these primary metabolites are basically involved in two things: growth and development. Note this point, it is directly involved in growth and development of any living organism. Then they are called as the primary metabolites. And when we are going to read the secondary metabolites, then we will discuss that there would be no direct effect of secondary metabolites on growth and development. This means they are not directly involved in growth and development of any living organism. So after that we will discuss about the secondary metabolites. Note this point. Now what are the secondary metabolites? As I have already discussed with you all that secondary metabolites are having no direct role in growth and development of living organism, okay. They have no direct impact on growth and development, okay. Then there are some certain plants, there are some certain fungi, there are some certain microbes. They usually produces some sort of organic compound that is called as the biomolecules that are considered as secondary metabolites. Those metabolites having no direct role in growth and development of living organism. So the basic difference, those having direct impact on growth and development of living organism called as primary metabolites. Those are not having direct role on growth and development of living organism can be considered as secondary metabolites. Let us consider many plants, fungi and microbes of certain genera, means having different genus name and families, synthesize number of organic compounds or biomolecules which are not involved. Put this point, sorry, which are not involved in direct growth and development of organism. Suppose, basically, I am saying basically, not it is right up to 100%. These are those metabolites that are having no importance in the host organism. Suppose, let us consider about a rubber plant. The white like fluid that is secreted from the rubber plant is collected, and from that we make rubber. So basically the plants which is removing that fluid. So let us remind you one thing, we also remove something, we also remove some fecal matter. This means the undigested material that are present in our body called as waste, and this waste is degraded from the anal opening or from the anus. In my case, in the same manner, when I am discussing about a plant, suppose a rubber plant, it is secreting something outside of its body, the fluid. This means basically the thing which is secreted from microbe, which is secreted from plant, which is secreted from fungi is basically waste. It is having no use in that rubber plant, in that fungi, in that simple plant. Okay, this means basically the secondary metabolites are waste that is generated by plants, that is generated by fungi, that is generated by microbes, because they are having no definite role in their growth and development. So the line has been given, the function and role of secondary metabolite in host organism. In host organism simply means where they are synthesized. For example, this is a rubber plant. Okay, suppose this is a rubber plant. Okay, rubber plant actually secretes a milky whitish fluid out of the body. Similarly, if any organism is secreting something outside of the body, this means they are having no role in this rubber plant. This is produced in the rubber plant, but it is having no role in the rubber plant. That's why rubber plant secrete this as a waste. So this whitish fluid for the rubber plant is what? It is a waste. Okay, it is a waste. Now we occupy or we collect that waste, that is whitish fluid, and we make a synthetic rubber. Okay, so the whitish fluid which is secreted from the rubber plant is having no importance in that rubber plant. It is basically, we can say that it is a type of waste that is secreted from the rubber plant, but it is having economical importance. It is having morely important for the human welfare. For example, just remind that point, the function and role of secondary metabolite in host organism. In host organism simply means in which it is produced, are not understand However, many of them are useful to human welfare. There are so many elements, for example, so many plants, so many fungi, so many microbes that usually produces lots of things. For example, rubber, for example, drug, for example, spices, for example, scents, for example, pigments. These are the example of secondary metabolites that are having no importance in case of what? Host organism, but they are really important for human welfare. For example, rubber plant is providing rubber. So in the general sense, we can say that these secondary metabolites are basically the waste that are produced by plant, fungi and microbes, because they are having no role in their own body, but they secreted these substances that are really important for the welfare of which? Human welfare. So this rubber plant, from this rubber plant, this white fluid is taken, and we can this white fluid is what? Waste for this rubber plant. But this white fluid is collected and we can make a synthetic rubber. For example, there are lots of plants that usually secrete something, and from that we can make drugs, we can make spices, we can make scent and the pigment. Scents are basically that is liberated by these plants in order to attract the insects. When these insects will be attracted, then pollination can happen. That is the cross pollination, self pollination. You are aware with that are basically. So note this point that these secondary metabolites are produced by plant, fungi, microbes, and we can simply say that secondary metabolites having no role in the direct growth and development of living organism. And in which organism they are produced, they are having definite no role. They are basically excreted out, or simply they excreted out as a waste, and these waste are really very important for the human welfare. From this waste we can make, so there are lots of drugs can be made from the plants. Rubber can be made from the rubber plant. Spices can also be taken. Scents can also be taken from the plants. Pigments can also be taken, and they are used by for the welfare of the human. So it is not having any direct role. So secondary metabolites, simply we can say that these are the waste that are produced by the plants, microbes and fungi. Now we are going to discuss the various type of secondary metabolites that has been given in the NCERT. Okay, so note this point. After that we will discuss that point. Now we are going to discuss some of the secondary metabolites that has been given on the page number 146 in NCERT. So here the secondary metabolites have been written, and these are their example. And whenever the trick is required, so I have made a simple trick. Through this we can identify each and every example of the secondary metabolites. Let us continue. The first secondary metabolite is pigment. So in pigments there are two examples that has been given in the NCERT. The first, that is the carotenoids and anthocyanin. These are the pigments, example of pigments. So pigments are basically a secondary metabolites. So sometimes the question may be asked that out of this which are pigments, or out of this which are secondary metabolites. Okay, so if this has been given that the carotenoids, anthocyanin. So if you find that out of this any carotenoid or anthocyanin, then you tick that only. Okay, so first you have to remember that pigments, what are the example of pigment? Carotenoids and anthocyanin. The simple trick through which you can identify this whole chart is CAP. You can identify this as a CAP. C-A-P. C stand for carotenoids, A stand for anthocyanin, and P is basically pigment. So these are pigments. Okay, so you can learn this as a simple trick. Cap, C for carotenoid, A for anthocyanin, and these two are what? These two are pigments. Okay, so the first has been completed. Note this point. This is the first secondary metabolite. Now the second type of secondary metabolite that has been given is alkaloids. Now the two important alkaloids that has been given in the NCERT is morphine and codeine. Morphine and codeine. These two are important alkaloids. The simple trick to learn this whole is, suppose there is a girl whose name is Alka and he has made a website and the name of her website is alka.com. Which com? Alka.com. Alka simply means alkaloids. C for codeine, M for morphine. Okay, so you can remember this whole second alkaloid, that is alkaloid contains morphine and codeine. It can be easily learnt by the help of a simple trick, that is alka.com. Alka means alkaloids. C for what? Codeine. M for morphine. So you can identify this as alka.com. So it is a basic trick. Now the third which has been given is terpenoids. So terpenoids is also a type of secondary metabolites, and the example which has been given in the terpenoids is monoterpenes and diterpenes. So I think there is no requirement of trick, because terpenoids, it has given terpenoids, and in this also terpene has been given, monoterpene, diterpenes. So whenever question may be asked which of the following is terpenoids, so you can easily identify in which terpene is present. Monoterpene or diterpene may be present in the 4 of the objective, so you can easily identify. It doesn't require any type of trick, but you have to remember what is this terpenoids. Terpenoids is basically formed by the composition of isoprene unit. If you have learned about the polymerization of rubber, so how this synthetic rubber is formed? The synthetic rubber is basically formed by a combination of isoprene units, C5H8. Okay, so this terpenoids is also made up of isoprene unit. Terpenoid, it is formed of composition of isoprene unit. Isoprene unit simply means C5H8. C5H8 is an isoprene that is used for making synthetic rubber called as polyisoprene. Synthetic rubber synthesis. Suppose lots of isoprene combine, C5H8, 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 long combination of isoprene combine with each other, then it will form what? Synthetic rubber, that is called as the polyisoprene. So this terpenoid is also made up of the same isoprene. So the two examples that is given in the terpenoids is monoterpene and diterpenes. The formula of monoterpene is C10H16. What? C10H16. What I have done? Suppose terpenoid is basically isoprene unit, C5H8. What I have done? Double this value, multiply by 2, C10H16. So it will be monoterpene. Now C5H8 into 4, because this is the terpenoid, into 4, C20H32. So this is diterpene. Okay, this much will not be asked up to your level. but you have to remember this only two things, that the example of terpenoid is what? Monoterpene and diterpenes. Okay, now the essential oil, the fourth type of secondary metabolite is essential oil, and it also doesn't require any type of trick, because the example is lemongrass oil. It is also containing oil. So whenever question may be asked, a type of what? Secondary metabolite that having essential oil. So if in option there will be oil, you can tick that, lemongrass oil. It is also having oil, it is also having oil. So there is, I think there is no trick is required. Trick is required here because pigments contain carotenoid and anthocyanin. So you can learn with a simple trick, cap, C for carotenoid, A for anthocyanin, P for pigments. And alkaloids, the two example of alkaloids is morphine and codeine. You can learn this with the help of trick simple alka.com. Alka simply means alkaloid, C for codeine, M for morphine. Note this point. There are some another secondary metabolites which we have to discuss. Now let us consider some other examples that is given about the secondary metabolites. The next one is toxin, and in toxin the two important substances, toxin simply means that is the toxic substances that are released from the plants, that may be toxic for the living, some animals or some human being also. For toxin contains abrine and rixin. Abrine and rixin are basically example of toxin that are released from plants, fungi or something else. Okay, how do you remember that this are the example of toxin? So there is a simple trick. When suppose when you did not identify anything, so teacher said रट लो, what करो? रट लो simply means इसको learn कर लो, रट लो. So the trick is अब रटो, अब रटो, अब रटो. AB stand for abrine, R simply for rixin, and TO rato, TO for toxin. So you can identify this simply ab rato, AB for abrine, R for rixin, and TO to rato, TO means toxin. So this is all about toxin. Now the next secondary metabolite is lectins, and in that one example is given, that is concanavaline A. Concanavaline A. So you can also learn this with a simple trick, that do you know the CA charter accountant, as we know that they charged very high, so their salary is basically in lakh, in 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 3 lakhs. So the trick is same, lakh CA. L simply stand for lectin, and C A for concanavaline A. So you can easily learn this, the lectin, and what is the example of lectin is the concanavaline A, by a simple trick, that lakh CA. Lakh CA means the charter accountant is having salary in lakhs. Lakh simply stand for lectin, and CA for concanavaline A. Now the next secondary metabolite is drug. There are the two type of drugs has been given. The first, that is the vinblastine drug, and this was the question which was asked in JIPMER, that out of this which secondary metabolite is used as drug to treat the cancer disease. Okay, so this was the answer, that vinblastine. Vinblastine is a anti-cancerous drug. Note this point, vinblastine is a anti-cancerous drug. This is used in order to treat the cancerous cell. The second, that is the curcumin, is also a type of drug, and it is obtained from turmeric plant. So example of drugs are two. First, that is the vinblastine, second that is the curcumin. Okay, these are the two example of the drugs. First, vinblastine and curcumin. Vinblastine is also known as anti-cancerous drug and curcumin is obtained from turmeric plant. So what is the basic trick to learn this? So do you remember the Vin Diesel who drive car very fast in Fast and Furious 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? So the trick is also same. Vin Diesel's car. Vin Diesel's car. Vin stand for vinblastine. Diesel, D stand for drug, and C, that is car, stand for curcumin. So the two drugs which are acting as a secondary metabolite, first that is the curcumin and the second that is the vinblastine. It can be learned by a simple trick, that the Vin Diesel's car. Vin for vinblastine, Diesel for drug, and CAR, car for what? Curcumin. And the last, that is the polymeric substances that has been given, that is formed by the combination of many monomeric units, that is called as the polymeric substances. So you are I think you are aware with these two polymers. These are some, rubber is a polymer, gum is a polymer, cellulose is a polymer. So you can easily identify that polymeric substances. So polymeric substances, example of polymeric substances: rubber, it is formed by the combination of isoprene unit C5H8. Gum, it is formed by combination of various type of polysaccharide. Cellulose, that is the polymer of glucose. So this is all about secondary metabolites. So this much has been given in the NCERT about the primary metabolite, secondary metabolite. Kindly go through this and the page number on which it has been given and try to identify the differences. Okay, so if you like this video, kindly like and subscribe my channel. Thank you all.